الحكمة هي الفقه ومعرفة مراد الله ورسوله، والحكمة وضع الشيء في موضعه.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. Then first and foremost, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to gather together in the masjid of Wisdom Islamic School, and also to gather online on our Facebook Live video for the purpose of this year's mid-year General Assembly. The mid-year General Assembly Wisdom Islamic School, the school year 2021-2022. And the one who is speaking right now to you, those online inside the masjid, this is Supervisor Abdurrahman Bababaya. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this gathering and assembly a beneficial one in which all of us will be rewarded for in the hereafter. So to begin, let us take a quick look at the agenda for this meeting. And we have 4 in particular to go through briefly, inshallah. The first of them is a quick and a brief review of the philosophy, vision, mission, goals, and objectives for the Pvmgo of Wisdom Islamic School. This is something that we have taken a quick look at in the first General Assembly earlier this year in August, or in August of 2021 rather. The second point to look at is the summary of our standards-based school improvement plan, for short the SSIP. Inshallah, we will learn in a short while what do we mean by standards-based school improvement plan. Thirdly, we want to propose an increase of the tuition fee from the school fees for the next school year. And fourthly, the graduation or moving up ceremony for this school year. So at the end of this gathering, at the end of this assembly, those joining online, please make sure to fill up the online attendance form. I believe it is in the description of the live video, and the link will be shown at the end of this presentation, inshallah. In that online attendance form, you may give your comments, your remarks, suggestions, and questions, if any, inshallah, so that we can take a look at them and review them and see what would be beneficial for all of us. So let us begin with the first part, which is a brief review of the Pvmgo of Wisdom Islamic School. And this, what we're looking at right now, the standards of compliance, is taken from the ESC, or the Educational Service Committee certification from the PEAC, or the Private Education Assistance Committee. Is that correct? The ESC? Educational Service Contracting, rather. So the Educational Service Contracting Certification Assessment Instrument. And if you zoom here, you can take a look at this instrument, which shows the standards that all private schools recognized by the Department of Education of the Philippines should try their best to implement. And so you will find the standards that all schools in the Philippines should try to implement. So here, these standards of compliance are for the Pvmgo. So we should make sure that the Pvmgo are clear, unique, well-aligned, active and living statements. Also, that the philosophy expresses the school community's shared values, meaning whatever we have as our beliefs in the school is also what the school communities, the community members believe in and share. Also, these school goals and objectives are supportive of the Deaf Ed program. Additionally, there should be a program that disseminates to and orients the school community. And one of those programs is what we have today, Mid-Year General Assembly. And finally, the participation of various stakeholders, meaning the administration, the teachers, the parents, alumni, Office of Islamic School, in review and revision when appropriate. So what we will see here is we'll take a quick look at the Pvmgo. If you have any comments, for the sake of time, we'll not open it right now. But for those who wish to comment and suggest and revise, then please fill in the online attendance form. You may share your thoughts there. So the philosophy, as we mentioned before, the first General Assembly, is that students learn best when they truly believe that they are created to submit to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by following the way of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when it comes to seeking knowledge and excelling in performance. And we expect our students to work at the highest level which they are capable. As Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah loves that when one of you does an action, He perfects it. So this is what we hope to impart to our students, that they are here in this world to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and whatever that is beneficial and good for them, they will perfect that action. As for our vision, what we would like to see in the future, inshallah, is to see, in short, an Islamic society that adheres to the Qur'an and the Sunnah, ideal Islamic society that adheres to the Qur'an and the Sunnah upon the understanding of the righteous predecessors. As for our mission, then we aspire to be a leading institution. We're not satisfied with what is the current state of the school. We wish to be a leading institution for providing quality education and authentic Islamic teachings. Then for our goals, we have 3 main goals in order to achieve those mission and the vision, inshallah. To provide a quality ambient Islamic environment, to develop learners' knowledge, abilities, and skills through an integrated, well-balanced curriculum, and to prepare holistically developed individuals with 21st century skills to adapt to the complexities and challenges of an increasingly interdependent knowledge society. So we hope that the students, inshallah, this third goal will be balanced Muslims. We try to imitate the best of the Muslims, meaning the righteous predecessors who excelled first and foremostly in the goals for the hereafter, and then also they perform what is necessary and what is excellent for this world. Then our objectives to try and achieve those goals. We've seen them before. Let's quickly take a look at them. Our first objective is, inshallah, to improve school facilities. Secondly, to make sure that the teachers have the Islamic values to inculcate, or to rather to insert into their teachings of the Deaf Ed curriculum, to make sure that whatever they impart to the students will be, as we say here, Islamized, or will be in accordance with our philosophy, vision, mission, and goals. The third point is to make sure that we comply with the Deaf Ed curriculum standards. Fourthly, to teach students Islamic, Arabic, Qur'an, meeting the competencies found in the annually reviewed curriculum maps. The fifth point, to train students to complete senior high school education. As we know, the current trend right now is that many students think that they have to go to those popular Christian schools in order to achieve in their worldly affairs, achieve something in their worldly affairs. But as we have mentioned before in the first General Assembly, alhamdulillah, we have students who graduated from our senior high school, graduated from our fourth year high school, in the previous school years, and they have gone on to being top notchers in the board exams and so on. So it is not a condition for a student to perform well in their secular studies that they have to transfer, for example, to attend Davao or UIC or Davao Doc and so on and so forth. Okay, it is not a condition, and we have seen that already from our students who graduated from our schools. And again, the success is not from the school, rather the success is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So, and finally, to make sure that our annual events are compliant with Islamic guidelines. And more on these objectives later on, inshallah. So again, at the end of this assembly, there will be a link to fill up the online attendance form. And inshallah, you may give your comments and suggestions regarding the Pvmgo there, inshallah. Okay, the next part is a quick and brief summary of our standards-based school improvement plan. Okay, so every school is expected, as shown here. Okay, so we have here in the ESC certification assessment instrument, as we mentioned before. This is where you can find the standards that all private schools must try to implement in their own schools. And here, the framework, you can see the ingredients, as you may say, for a successful school, or what the PAC or the PAC, Private Educational Assistance Committee, will be looking at in order to see if your school is achieving those standards. Okay, so we have 8 areas. Okay, what are those 8 areas that constitute the school? Firstly, we have the school philosophy, vision, mission, goals, and objectives on the top left. Then going to the right, we have the curriculum, assessment, instruction. Then we have the instructional leadership. Then we have the faculty, teachers. Afterwards, on the right side, we have the academic support and student development services, physical plant and instructional support facilities at the bottom right, rather 9 areas rather. And then the administration and governance, bottom left. And on the left-hand side, the school budget and finances. And finally, the institutional planning and development. So the standards-based school improvement plan falls under the area of institutional planning and development. So if any of these areas are lacking, any one of these areas are lacking, then the school is not meeting the standards of the Department of Education, whatever it may be. So a part of one of the areas that the Department of Education will look at is your planning. And as we know, the well-known saying, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, right? That's a well-known saying with correct meaning. So without any planning, without making sure the plan is according to your Pvmgo, without making sure that your plan is according to the standards that are necessary to have a successful school, then basically all these areas will fail. So although the Department of Education put the institutional planning development at the very bottom, this is basically the first step. If you do not have any plan, then why do you have a school? So this is what the administration of Wisdom Islamic School has been focusing on throughout the first three quarters to make sure that the next school years, inshallah, starting with the school year 2022-23, which will inshallah begin in the third week of August 2022, inshallah. Then we hope to achieve many of those standards. We can't say all, because it's not realistic to achieve all of the standards, right? Because one of those things that we need are the school budgets and finances, and as we all know, from those from the PTA and so on, the school needs a lot of help when it comes to the budgets and finances. So this, as you can see here, is what the Department of Education will look at. So they will look at the school's certification assessment instruments reports, then the evidences to prove the report, and then their own certification report. And from that, you will get the rating scale. What do you mean by the rating scale? What will be the grades given basically to our implementation of the standards? So 0 meaning we have no evidence, not only no evidence of compliance, but no plan of action. So we do not have an SSIP, a standards-based school improvement plan for a standard, for something that is necessary, then they would give us a score of 0. If we have a plan, but there is no evidence, we're just in the planning stages, and there is no evidence of complying with the plan and the standard, then they will give us a score of 1. If there is partial evidence of compliance, there is a plan, then they will give us a score of 2. But what we are aiming for at least is not 2, at least is 3, which is the evidence of compliance with standard is presented, meaning we have complied with the standard and we also have a plan. Right? And then number 4 is if we exceed that as standard, which is inshallah something that we also aim for, one step at a time, of course. Make sure that we reach that as standards, and then inshallah excel where we are able to and advance where we are able to, inshallah. Okay, so this is again for the overall score, but in general it's the same as what we mentioned earlier. And here we've already discussed this in the first General Assembly, so we don't want to talk too much about it. But basically, if we have a score of 3, if we have an overall score of 3 or rating of 3, then we will be undergoing recertification, meaning that will visit us again after 4 years. But if our score is 2, then they will revisit us in the 3rd year of after the previous visit. If our score is mostly 2 or 1, then they may come after 2 years or 1 year. Okay, so just brief about the visiting of the Department of Education. Here we have a sample of one improvement plan item out of a number we cannot really mention. So many. This is just for one area. The first area, as you can see on the top, philosophy, vision, mission, goals, and objectives. This is what we have developed. We cannot go through all of the plans right now because there's a lot of standards. There are a lot of standards to try to improve. But basically, under this Pvmgo area, then only one item that we hope to improve is a program that disseminates to and orients the school community on the importance and meaning of the Pvmgo, which we have already started with the first General Assembly, right? And also this mid-year General Assembly. So you can see we're already going through with the plans. In the past, if I can see people here who have, enrolled with us in the past, and also those parents of students who've been with us for many years. I know you know that we never had this kind of structure of having a general assembly. It's basically, well, when are we meeting? I think it's a good idea to meet. So let's meet. Okay, next week, there's no plan at all. And if you remember the way that we used to do things in the past, there is no plan that people can see. And by the way, this SSIP will be open to the public, meaning the students, even parents, the administration, of course, and the teachers, they should know about our plans. Okay, so from these SMART goals, from the specific, measurable, attainable, reachable, and time-oriented goals that we have, firstly, is to make sure that we always have the calendar of activities, which alhamdulillah for school year 2022-23 was already approved by the Fed for the next school year. And also at the end, to hold an end of year General Assembly. Okay, so as you can see, the dates are mentioned very clearly. Also, the outputs to show that we have achieved those goals are mentioned clearly. It should be finalized calendar activities, the updated school catalog, and our website should be updated and so on. And then we should revise and finalize these things and publish them. And we have the time period. Okay? And then how we monitor them, we should be able to see all of these and who are the people in charge. As for the budget, we put here to be determined because it will also depend on the tuition fees that we are getting. This is one of the reasons why we have, as part of today's assembly, proposal to see if the parents will support the increase of the tuition fees, and we'll see how much, inshallah. Okay, so this is just only one item out of, I don't know, I didn't count exactly how many items, but for sure, at least, if I'm not mistaken, maybe around 80 or so, because there's 9 areas and around 5 to 15 items that should be improved. And then from those items, for the evidences, there are around 470 evidences that we need to present. Okay? And we have a lot basically to try to present to the whole school and so on, inshallah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our plans successful. Now, a quick summary of the SSIP or the plans that's clear on the screen, inshallah. So we currently have completed, or we're currently finalizing, or I guess finalized. We've already made the first draft, which is presented to the PAYAC, the certification team, but we're finalizing, making sure that everything is actually achievable, inshallah, if Allah wills. So we have the plan for the next 2 years, meaning 2022, 2023. So we've already included 2022, 2023, and up to 24. Okay, so from 2021 to 2024, we already have these standards-based school plan. But inshallah, in the following 3 years, so from 2024 to 2027, you can see here what we hope to achieve in the second paragraph here. The first paragraph shows the summary of our plan for this area, only this area, for 2021 up to 2024. Then the second paragraph shows our plan, inshallah, from now, 2021 up to 2027. And then, inshallah, in 2030, we hope to achieve this third paragraph for this particular area. So that's what we're trying to say. From 2021 up to 2030, you can say Vision 2030 of Muslim Islamic School. Right? We hope to achieve this, inshallah. But step by step, let's look at the first part here. So, firstly, we need to make sure, inshallah, in the next 2 years that the Pvmgo are evident in the school in various ways, meaning the students, the teachers, the parents, everyone understands our Pvmgo. Everyone knows and understands our Pvmgo. Okay? Why are we making this clear, although this seems very basic? Because we still have many parents confused about the way that we run school. Not only parents, even teachers. So why are we doing this and not this? Why don't we have Christmas break? Why don't those kind of questions? All of the action that we're trying to do is trying to make sure, inshallah, that they are aligned with the Pvmgo. But what is evident right now is that many of the parents, students, teachers do not understand our Pvmgo because we did not really explain it to the school community. And then, without reading too much, as you can see on the screen, inshallah, those are for the following years, inshallah. Okay. Moving on to the next area for curriculum assessment and instruction. We hope by 2024, inshallah, that there is an implementation and continuous improvement of the curriculum maps from kindergarten up to senior high school, right? For the teachers who are here, not just the junior high school, but kindergarten up to senior high school. The implementation and continuous improvement of the curriculum maps, making sure that they are in line with the DepEd curriculum guides. Okay, and then in the following 3 years, we hope that the curriculum are properly implemented. There's no one can complain. Oh, they're not learning enough English, they're not learning enough math, enough science, and so on. Okay, so basically, why are you going to those other schools when you teach what is according to standards? Okay. Then for instructional leadership, meaning those who are overlooking the faculty members, from the supervisor, like myself, or the principal, like Mr. Safullah, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant him success. He is about to finish his doctorate degree in Indonesia for educational administration. He's going through a lot of struggles there, so may Allah make it easy to grant him success to achieve his doctorate in educational administration. So we hope, inshallah, that the principal, when he comes back, will design and implement a system for aligning the different school operations and departments with the Pvmgo, making sure that we achieve the K-12 curriculum. Okay, so a lot of things that can be mentioned regarding our plans. Then for the faculty, we hope by 2024 that the faculty assignments are such that faculty members are able to carry out their duties effectively. One of the problems that we've been having, especially in the past these 2 years during the pandemic, was that the teachers were overwhelmed by the stress and the pressure of the new normal, as they say, also with the amount of workload and the fact that we have to even remove, or some teachers were not able to, not remove, but rather they weren't able to renew their contracts, and we didn't find replacements for them. So we were actually less in number than the previous school years with more workloads. Okay, so we hope, inshallah, by 2024, all of the teachers are working effectively in doing what is necessary, and that they'll be able to improve at the same time, not that they are falling under or sinking on in a sinking ship and so on. As for and this is one of the things that many students found lacking in our school, is that in the next 2 years, inshallah, we hope that the data that is being managed in the registrar's office is properly managed. Also that the library is the information management system is designed to facilitate active and inquiry-based learning, individual study, research, and leisurely reading, meaning that the library is accessible whenever necessary, and it offers the adequate resources for these students. Meaning, what do we mean by that? Purchasing of books that are updated and so on. Making sure that the librarian is trained well, right? And then the science laboratory for the sciences, for physics, for biology, for chemistry, and also the computer lab and TLE lab are venues that promote inquiry, discovery, and research and application of theories and principles covered in the different courses of study. Meaning that, inshallah, we actually have what is necessary for these labs. Because as you can see, we had to spend quite a bit last year to make sure that the computers are running, to give access to the teachers. But also, in the previous years, we've been mentioning to the students a lot that we want to give them a proper computer lab. Due to the lack of resources and so on, we weren't able to give those plans. Then for the physical plant, meaning the school, the actual physical school, we hope in the following 2 years, by 2024, there is upholding of well-being of the school community in the physical environments such as health and nutrition, safety and security, sanitation and hygiene. Okay, so that meaning the school will be meeting the standards, meaning just a simple example, the CRs will be comfortable using them, everyone, from the top to the bottom. Also, the canteen will offer healthy food for the students, right? And making sure that the canteen is being managed properly. Also, that the classrooms are well equipped, not these small whiteboards that we have. The teacher has to keep on rubbing them off or erasing them, after one paragraph. Rather, we hope, inshallah, by 2024, these students will have what they need, inshallah, in terms of the physical plant and support facilities. Inshallah, by the next 2 years, we hope to make sure that the administration is, whatever that we do with the administration is clear to everyone else. Okay? One of the things that we used to hear from the students and parents and teachers is that, the admin is busy. But busy doing what? Okay, you don't know what is our role, and even ourselves, we didn't really know what our roles were in the previous years. But then, by the will of Allah, and alhamdulillah, we were able to look at a lot of the standards that are necessary for administrators, since also we participated in some of the administration trainings under PEA. So there's a lot of things that need to be done from all sides, not just the teachers, not just the students, not just the parents, but rather also the administration themselves. Okay, so we hope that the administration will establish policies, structures, and processes to ensure effectiveness and efficiency of day-to-day operations and long-range planning. So the work must be made clear in these policies and so on. Then inshallah, in the next 2 years regarding our school budget and finances, that we have an actual budget that everyone is able to, or everyone necessary, doesn't have to go into the whole world, but the different departments of the school, which we didn't actually have, meaning the science department, the maths department, the sports department. If you just look back a couple of years, we spent quite a lot on the PISA, and so on. We spent quite a lot on, renting venues for the students to practice, competitions between different schools. A lot has been spent on sports, only to, Allah not achieve anything in sports. SubhanAllah. A lot has been spent. You cannot deny that a lot has been spent. Okay? But then compare the spending on the sports side to the, let's say, the academics. Or the library. Simple thing, library. Name me one new book that you've seen in our library. Just one new book. So, scholar for such poor planning. Okay? But you can see how many different basketballs we've bought, how many footballs we've had, how many times we went to as well as Cove, so on. But just one book purchased specifically for the library, not donation from somebody all the way in Saudi Arabia or so, but just one book, and subhanAllah, is very challenging for us. Because the departments did not know how much the budgets are allocated to each, for them, and so on. Okay? And then also, when we say the miscellaneous fees, the miscellaneous fees that you are paying, it should be made clear when we revise the terms that we have mentioned there in the miscellaneous fees, that will show that you are paying this miscellaneous fees to these departments, TLE department, science department, and so on. So you will see, inshallah, that every year there's an improvement in each department, not only sports, for example. Okay? So those in charge of those departments, they should know how much they are able to spend, inshallah. Okay, so that we hope to achieve within the next 2 years, that everyone from the faculty and from the PTA will know what is being spent, inshallah, from those who will be helping and so on. Then finally, regarding the institutional planning, we hope, inshallah, that every year we have annual operation plans that break down what needs to be done in each year from the SSIP that we have, that we were talking about. And that every annual operational plan, the PTA, and whoever in the admin and so on, they can monitor and evaluate the progress of those plans. Okay, it's not like a plan that is hidden in the administration office and then you have something new here you never even knew about it. Rather, everyone needs to know what is the progress of the plans, inshallah. So already just from these points that we've shown here, without getting into too many details, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Right? And we've only looked at basically one item in Pvmgo, in the area of Pvmgo. So inshallah, we have to set time, which is already included in the SSIP. We have to set time to sit down and discuss the SSIP and the annual operation plan, inshallah. So hopefully by 2030, the school will be a standardized school. What do you mean by standardized school? Meaning that there is no one from the students or the teachers, not only for the students, but rather also the teachers themselves. They will see that they are very comfortable benefiting from the school all around. Okay, so from next year already, you should be able to see the improvements. But by 2030, the school will actually be different. What do I mean by different? What do I mean by different? We mean a real Islamic school. I'm following the Pvmgo that we have, following the standards in that, and no one can complain in any of the areas, inshallah. And if we can do more than that, advance from those, then inshallah, we will do so, inshallah. Okay? So the main point from this part 2 is that we have a plan and we are going to open the plan to you. Unlike before, we did not have a plan. It's just every day, there's a leaking ceiling, there's a leak over there, the neighbors are complaining, the leak. And then that's the highlights of the school year, we fix the leak. You remember, right? The highlights, one of the main highlights, we fix the leak, which is, we're not saying it's a small thing. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward the parents and all those involved with that huge, effort in fixing the issues between the school and its neighbors. That's a huge effort, subhanallah. But when it comes to the academic side, what can we, present? Right? There are not many highlights and so on. So inshallah, we hope to achieve those standards. Again, if you have any comments, suggestions, then please feel free to mention that in the online attendance form. Then for the third part, we talked a little bit about we're not able to include in the budget planning yet due to we're not sure how much we're going to be receiving the income for the next school year. But just a quick look at only one side, basically the salaries of the teachers, what we hope to have for the next school year. Okay. Currently, or this is actually for 2022-23, in the next school year, we hope to have at least 30 employees from the teachers and the support staff and so on, not including the mobile family and so on. Okay, we mean employees under the administration. So we hope to have at least 30. Okay, that includes additional teachers who will be, for example, assigned to the clinic and so on. Okay, so with additional necessary teachers, and making sure that the loads of the teachers are properly spread out, we hope to have an improvement in the average salary of the employee. Right now, it's around 8,000 pesos only, the average salary per employee. And if you have, seen in Dole and so on, what is the minimum wage in Davao, when you know that this is under the minimum wage. SubhanAllah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward the teachers for their long patience. Okay, so per month the average salary is around 8,000 pesos only. Okay, while in, the minimum wage is higher than that. And for next year we hope to improve it. As we said, by 2030, inshallah, everyone will be comfortable, meaning our salaries will be competitive with the public schools. What are the public schools earning, public school teachers are earning? Around 22,000 so on. Which will also increase by 2030, by the way, most likely. Okay? So we hope by that time, we run the school well enough to have a competitive salary. Right now, this is far from competitive. 9,500, which we hope to achieve next year, is far from 22,000. But one step at a time, at least we improve 1,500 compared to the current average salary. Okay? And then the number of working months is at least 11 months. From July, from August, we started this school year in August up to June. Okay? We hope to end by June, inshallah. Okay, so the 11 months includes the preparation month. Of course, you cannot have a 2-month vacation and then as soon as the students arrive and ready to learn, then the teachers start preparing. Obviously, there needs to be at least 1 month of preparation, at least. We say at least because if you can have 2 months of preparation, that would be much better for all. Okay, but at least 11 months. And then the total yearly salary, including the 13th month pay for these 30 employees, an average salary of 9,500, working for 11 months. Then for 2022-23 is around 3.8 million. Okay, around 3.8 million, including the 13th month pay, which is a mandatory benefit that schools must give to their employees. And the other mandatory benefits like field health, SSS, and Pvmgo, right? So it's around 3.8 million. And this is only for the tuition fee. We did not say anything about electrical costs and so on. Okay? There's nothing to do with that. So, of course, there are many more, we call expenses. So these are the current school fees. So from 15,000 in kindergarten 1 up to 24,000 in grade 12. Okay, so if you compare our school fees with many of the other schools around, we're still from the lowest in terms of our school fees. Okay, so our school fees are extremely low. We have not changed them since 2018. Remember before that we had a meeting similar to this one when we had majority of the parents and teachers to discuss the increase of our tuition fee, and that was not increased even for maybe the past 5 years or so. Okay, so now we are proposing to increase the tuition fees because we don't, for next school year, with around, let's say, right now we have 220 students. Okay? This is just for the salaries. And the salaries are taken from the tuition fees, not the miscellaneous and so on. You know, the miscellaneous is much smaller than the tuition fees. So, with around 235 students possibly for next school year, because we cannot say being too positive. Again, success is from Allah. We hope we can get 300 students. But realistically speaking, with around 235 students, around 18 students per grade, kindergarten in kinder 1 and kinder 2. So around 18 students, we get around 235 students. And that's a realistic projection because the next school year, if you have the face-to-face classes, a number of students may not be able to come to Davao City or move to Davao City since they're outside and they're depending on the online classes. But also, as we know, that many students wish to come back to face-to-face classes, so we hope for an increase. So let's say if we have 235 students, with the current tuition fees, again, not the school fees, we're looking at only the tuition fees, then it's possible that we will receive only on tuition fees 3.6 million, meaning we are negative for the salaries. We cannot pay the salaries of the teachers. Again, We are not talking about, we have not discussed anything about the electrical expenses and so on. Now, if the tuition fees increased by, who has excellent maths, how much did they increase? So before, for kindergarten 1, it was 11,000. For grade 1, it was 13,000. For grade 4 to 6, it was 16,000. And for grade 7 to 12, it was 18,000. So how much increase are we asking? Only 1,000 pesos for the whole school year, which if you divide it in 2 months, it's only 100 pesos extra per month. Very tiny increase. A very tiny increase, knowing that the gasoline prices have increased, right? And the food prices have increased, and the living costs have increased, and so on. We ask Allah to help us all. So with 1,000 pesos increase in all the tuition fees, then inshallah, with 235 students, we should be able to have some more. Again, this depends. Maybe we have 200 students in the next year. We don't know. Okay. So again, this increase from what we have studied and planned seems to be a necessity. But again, it depends on the parents. And we're not going to decide here. This is not the time to decide if we're going to increase it or not. Rather, we will set up another meeting specifically like what we did in 2018, January, to see if the parents agree with the increase. So if you have any comments or suggestions, please fill up the online attendance form, and the link will be given to you at the end, and we're about to close also, inshallah. Okay? So if you agree with it, for those who are with us online, then please share your thoughts. And also for those who are with us here, inshallah, we'll talk to the fathers later on who are with us here. So just 1,000 pesos increase only for the tuition fees, everything else the same. Then inshallah we'll be able to pay the teachers' salaries as we have mentioned earlier. Okay, so that is for the tuition fee proposal, just 1,000 pesos, basically 100 pesos per month. And then finally, for the fourth part, and we will have another meeting with the class advisors. Okay, the class advisors will have their own meetings with their students regarding the details of the graduation and moving up ceremony, inshallah. Okay? But the main point we want to announce right now is that the Department of Education allows physical end of school year rights for schools in alert level 1 and 2, meaning like Davao City. Okay, so they mentioned a lot more details regarding the how it should be. For example, only the students, the parents or guardian, the teachers, and the guest speakers are allowed to be in the venue. No aunties and all the extended family. Only the father or the mother, whoever is a guardian. Okay, only one guardian, the teachers, and so on. No other guests. So, inshallah, for us, our end of school year rights will be on July 2 and possibly additional July 3. July 2 is a Saturday, and possibly, inshallah, July 3 also. Why? Because we cannot have we're not allowed to have an overcrowded graduation moving up ceremony, because according to the other details here, you can find this on DEPED itself, DEPED.ph. They made this announcement on March 25, and they mentioned there that it should be by batches, meaning what we could do possibly is 1 day for the boys and then 1 day for the girls, similar to what we had in 2020, was it August, if I'm not mistaken, for the 2019-20 school year. Okay, so we'll segregate them. And again, more details to follow, inshallah. So we will first meet with the teachers regarding the graduation rights, and also afterwards, the class advisors will have a meeting with their students and their parents, inshallah, regarding the closing ceremony for kindergarten, grade 6, grade 10, and grade 12, inshallah. So now we have the link, very simple link here to make sure, again, you fill this up for those who joined us online. Also those with us here. You can fill it up. We have more comments and suggestions. Again, it is bit.ly/MYGA21-22. That stands for Mid-Year General Assembly 2021-2022. Again, bit.ly/MYGA21-22. Okay, so please go on there and fill up the attendance form and give us any of your comments and suggestions. And last announcement for the school is that inshallah after next week, not next week, after next week we'll be having the Islamic competition days with the theme Strive in the last days of nights of Ramadan. Will be held from Ramadan 25th to 26th, Monday to Thursday, corresponding to April 25 to 28, inshallah. And then after that, Friday, April 29, as we've also posted before on our Facebook page and Moodle, there will be the Ramadan break. The Ramadan break up to May 6th. So Eid, inshallah, might be May 2 or May 3. So from April 29 to May 6th, Friday, there are no classes, no office work. It will be a break for all students and teachers alike, inshallah. Okay, then by May 9, we will resume the fourth quarter classes, inshallah. Okay, so that is all. Again, please don't forget to fill up this form. And if you have any, okay, so for those who are with us online, Jazakumullahu khairan for your attendance. Please again fill up this link, fill up this form in this link, bit.ly/MYGA21-22. This stands for Mid-Year General Assembly 2022. So for those of us here, if you have any questions or suggestions, then you can give them right now. We'll have a few minutes, inshallah. So those from the parents, from the fathers here, if you have any questions, clarifications, corrections, any suggestions, then we can discuss it just for a few minutes. Again, for those online, Jazakumullahu khairan. Please do not forget to fill out the attendance form. Yes, but it's on. May 9 is a resumption of the fourth quarter classes, inshallah. So again, from April 29, that's a Friday, there'll be no classes, up to May 6th. We say May 8th, that's Sunday. So more than a week of no classes, around 10 days, no classes, no more, inshallah. Time for election. Not promoting anything here. And also that they made it clear that the graduation rights are not allowed to promote any specific party. Again, any questions, suggestions, clarifications? Again, we hope to achieve Vision 2030, inshallah. We'll try to decorate it a little more. Right now, many of you might not be impressed with what we've shown. However, inshallah, once you know the details, then you'll see, inshallah, we can achieve the standards. It is going to be very beneficial for all of us, inshallah. Yes, mashallah, you're around 40 years old. And then for Shaykh, he will be already in college by the time. Yes, maybe they will be attending the meeting for Kinder 1. Or there will be teachers in the school. Don't know. Mashallah. That's that proposal. We'll have another meeting, inshallah, specifically for the tuition fees because that's part of the debt requirements. If you want to increase the tuition fees, there must be a meeting specifically for that with the parents. So it cannot be in the General Assembly. We need to actually discuss it. Just 1,000 pesos so that the teachers can eat inshallah. Yeah. Barakallahu feekum for the support. Inshallah. Any other comments or suggestions? Maybe for those with us in the masjid, should we close already? Okay. Yes, the teachers want to leave already, so they can prepare for the iftar, inshallah. Again, for those with us online, we will conclude the assembly. Jazakumullahu khairan for your attendance. Please do not forget to fill up the attendance form. And for those with us here, Jazakumullahu khairan for your efforts to come to the masjid and attend the assembly. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.